Hello, everyone. So right now I'm going to be sharing with you a really cool video that I've been thinking about for a long time. And this video is about the concept of progressive failure. And this is, to my experience, the number one cause of dysfunction, disease, and suffering in the modern world, at least with regards to health. I can't speak beyond health because I'm the health guy, but with regards to health, this is what's causing everyone's issues definitively. So, progressive failure. How do we explain this concept? So let's talk about progressive failure like a house. It's a good way to understand progressive failure. A house is a system of systems that is a unity where the systems depend on each other. Dang, that's a really good metaphor for the human body now, isn't it? I think so too. So we got our basic little house. You can tell I am a amazing artist. So, got our house. So now it's a good house, It's got a good roof, it's got a good wall. It's a beautiful house, the exact house you want to live in. But as time goes on, you don't do the repairs you need to do on the house, and it gets a leak in the roof. Just a little leak. It's just a little leak in the house. It's a leak in the roof. It's a little leak. It's an inch. It's an inch, a little inch hole. It's not going to cause issues. It's still a leak. I don't even feel the rain. They say there's a leak, but I see it if I go look for it. But most of the time, I don't even notice, man. There's no water in here. What you talking about? Everything gives you cancer nowadays, man. Smoking that whatever it is you want to justify your addiction. Yeah, so you're justifying your little health problem. You're like, it's just a little imperfection. It's a small suboptimality. Leak spreads. Leaks start to drip in water. It's not an issue the first year, but 2 years in, whoa, what happened? Well, after a few years of the leak just being there, it just dripped water slowly down the side of the house. Now, this entire side of the house, man, it's rotten. It's just rotten, like the heat peeling off the sides. It's rotten, but it's just one side of the house, man. It's just one side of the house. But give it a little bit more time. Now the rot spreads horizontally, and now there's more leaks in the roof. There's more leaks in the roof, and now it's now we're to reference back to my video on the body's response to stress. We've now dropped below level 5. So dropping below level 5, now there's a real problem going on. Now it's raining in the house. Like when it rains, it pours in the house. But hey, man, it's still warm. It's still insulated. We still got electricity and stuff. Except with all that rock going on and everything, one of the sections of the house that was actually like receiving the electricity from the power lines, it actually collapsed a bit. And now the power lines are disconnected and they're just kind of laying there sparking, just laying there sparking. There's no power anymore. So now there's no heating. The pipes freeze. Pipes freeze. Now the entire house bursts. The entire house is flooded. The entire house is completely flooded. People have to leave the house. They can't even really live there anymore. So they leave the house, and then as a power surge, and then the entire house burns down from the sparking plugs that were never addressed. Entire house burns down. The entire house is just now on fire. Just burns. Just some markers going out, but it's just burning. It's just burning. Sun dried it out after it just dry rotted and everything is just burning. That's a good example of how progressive failure works. I mean, there's more systems in the body. The body's more complicated. But this is really like how disease works and how the progression of disease works. We start with a little bit of a problem, and we're not addressing that problem. Really, a really healthy house is not only good, but it has a team of people who stand there and stare at it. Anytime something goes wrong, they jump on it and fix it immediately. That's what having a really healthy body feels like. It feels like the second something goes wrong, boom, fixed. Have a body that's dipping though. That doesn't feel good. It feels like a house that's like leaking and you're just like looking at this thing. You're like, can I fix this thing up before it falls over? I don't know. And that's where people's bodies get to. My body's been there numerous times. I've been there numerous times, guys. Numerous times. It sucks. It's horrible. It's horrible. It feels like you're dying. But thankfully, I know what to do. I know how to take myself through a system where I build up my body's resilience and I get back to a point where I am on top of it. I feel amazing and everything's great. But many people aren't aware of how that happens and aren't aware of this entire thing. They aren't aware of progressive failure. They aren't aware of their body's check engine light. It's like a check engine light in your car. Check engine light in your car turns on. It's like, oh, I'll just ignore that. And then like just destroys your car down the road. I don't even know if that's like my own example, but like it's very typical. It's very, very, very typical. So usually by the time people get to me, they've already developed 3 or 4 different issues. And that's usually the point I'm at where they're like, yeah, I developed this problem like 12 years ago, and then 8 years ago I developed this other problem, and then 4 years ago I developed insomnia, and actually then 2 years ago I just stopped sleeping entirely. I just haven't been sleeping, and it's just horrible. And they just end up at this point where they're just hovering right above death. Essentially, their body doesn't even have the energy to heal itself, and after a time, if they stay in that state for too long, they will eventually just drop down even lower and then die. I mean, the body will run out of reserves, whatever reserves and enzymes and nutrition it was using, and unable to absorb from the diet due to gut issues or whatever issues, because nutrient imbalances cause nutrient malabsorption. This is where it gets really intense, guys. Like, you have poor nutrition, that is messing up your ability to absorb good nutrition. It's really bad. If you have poor functioning hormones, that is messing up your body's ability to deal with stress, absorb nutrition, heal itself. If you're not sleeping, that is a nightmare because you need sleep to heal every single thing in the human body. So, yeah, your house gets a leak, fix the roof. If the wall starts rotting, get that wall replaced. Like, do this stuff quick because progressive failure is very real. It's the rule. There's nothing in the body that goes wrong without affecting everything else in the body. And if you patch these things up with a band aid medication solution, you're not going to solve the problem. You're just going to push the problem on down the road, add one more stressor, and then experience total failure later on. And it's very unfortunate that a lot of people end up in this situation. But hopefully, this video and more videos like it, follow, subscribe, stay tuned for more information. Hopefully, this video and more videos like it will make these things more accessible to people so that we can start to see these patterns and how our bodies perform and behave so that we can fix these things when they happen and prevent them from happening in the first place. Done.